You are listening to Grammy's Rocket Chair on RLM Radio.
The girl of your dreams has got to be in some bar.
Sorry, boys and girls, but this is X-rated. So if you're under 18...
Get out, goddammit!
Get the point? Good.
And now?
Bindu.
Y'all ready for this?
Get it up. Get it up. I can't wait anymore.
I like to watch.
Whatever you desire. I know you like it. Do it.
We do it all night long.
And now, your host, Grammy.
Hey there, hi there, ho there, everybody. And guess what? It is a Freaker Friday here on the RLM and wherever else people might be listening in. And yeah, you got Grammy Mary here, and God knows what the hell I'm going to talk about tonight, because I just... Oh, I am so glad it's Friday. Wow, it really is just, freak time. It's freak time. Or just kick back, max, relax time, or whatever. I didn't even get to... I had one breakfast bar this morning at 10:30. And then I had the other, because it's a little 2-pack thingy. I had the other one at 1:30. And then I finally got to have my banana at about 4:30. That's the kind of day I've had. That's pretty much, that and coffee is all I had today till I got home. And then, yeah, I did really bad. I was healthy with the sandwich stuff. I did those sandwich thin thingies, but I put bologna and potato chips on it. But hey, I no longer have rumblies in the tumbly, so it's cool. It's all cool. Okay. Let me get this shared over on Twitter. By the way, thank you, Barman, for sharing me all over Twitter. Oh, really? I don't want to know about that. There's some weird stuff going on over here on Twitter. You people are just crazy. Crazy, I tell you. But thank you, Barman, for tweeting me over there. I truly do appreciate it. And let's see. I have 364 stalkers. I think I lost a couple, but I gained one. So it's okay. I'm kind of weeble wobbling. And Renee, honey, yeah, JJ's kind of has a way with doing that, doesn't he, sweetheart? Oh, well, he's a good guy, as far as I know, from the cyber webs. Oh, well, I'm going to shut Twitter off because I wasn't really seeing anything other than they had a thing about eating the JJ will cure cancer. Really? Wow. I'm not going to go there. Y'all are welcome to if you wish, but I'm not going to go there. Oh, Talos over here in the corner pocket says that he'll eat grass and brace yourself, you poof. I don't know who wrote that program, but that's freaking funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. Okay, over here on Fakeybook. Thank you, Gary L., for sharing me over there on Fakeybook. I also have a link up that I'm going to save for the show tonight. I want to get to it because, yeah, I was kind of off kilter on Wednesday because, well, it was a wackadoodle day, and so therefore I was whacked in the doodle or something. I don't know. But T-shirts. I saw that T-shirt. I want one of them T-shirts, J-Dread. I really, really do. Oh, well. In any case, over here on the RLM, which is where you need to be if you want to give me static, which, yeah. And, by the way, just so you know, next week I will have new headphones. So when they come in, I may pop on the radio just to do a little practice run just to see how well they work. Because if they don't work, I'm going to send them back. But I will have some new headphones. Yay! And so maybe I won't have this funky crap going on that I got going on right now. In any case, over here in the RLM, I see Barman right up top. Thank you ever so much, Barman, for all your tweeting and all that fun stuff. You know what? I need to check out that Freedoms Network real fast, too. Thank you, Grimner, over here on this effing site for sharing me over there. I really do appreciate it. I also see Cowboy Tech is over here, or at least he was posting stuff earlier. Senate Document 43. Do you own your land? No, you do not own your land. That's a given. No matter how much you think you do. Now, you may pay rent on it to the government, as AKA property taxes. You may have paid someone else a whole bunch of money for your land for the privilege of paying rent to the government for it because my roads. But yeah. I also see KD Troxel was over here posting like a crazy person, as well as I see Bungle in the Jungle, and the lovely Miri B has been here of late. Hey there, hi there, ho there, all y'all. New headlights, Grim. Well, I don't know that I'll have headlights, but headlights is better than head lice. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Okay. Moving along, saying, hey, Grammy will be on later on this evening for the Freakers Ball. I'm not real sure if Moosey is going to be here or not. If Moosey is not, then it'll be balls to the wall. But if she is, it'll be the Freakers Ball. So, yeah, figure that one out. Why don't you? I'm going to have me another sip of coffee because it's cold. It's cold out here. Lint? Who's got lint? I don't have no lint. Not even no belly button lint. So, there. I'm sure that was something you really wanted to hear, too. So the ladybugs are taking over the world. Oh, cool. Ladybugs. I like ladybugs. Ladybugs are good. Ladybugs eat aphids. Do I sound like I'm on speed or something? I'm not. I'm glad to be home. I also see the lovely Moose Girl is here. Moosey! Moose! The mighty Moose. She's so awesome. And I need to get her ass down here. I take her, we'll go see Lisa B, and we'll get Jodes, and we'll get Mames, and I'll think of a few other gals. We'll all get together and we'll go paint the town whatever damn color we want to paint it. Be like a kaleidoscope kind of thing. All funky. We'll have a good time. It's too cold up in your neck of the woods, Moose, or I'd go see you. I'm a wuss. Like it's not cold here. Okay, I also see the lovely Kate is in the house. Hey, Kate, how are you doing? Hope you're enjoying some absolutely splendiferous weather down there in Florida. Asmodeus Asmo is logged in, but probably not listening, as well as the lovely Beth Z. I also see BTC Bob, the first Bob of the Bob twins that I see in the chat so far. And looky there, Chalcedony is here, as well as the lovely Chloe. She's got lots of E-ing going on. Asian beetles that look like ladybugs. Yeah, those little buggers bite. Do you know that? If you've ever had one bite you would know. It hurts. Oh, that's right, Moosey. Kansas would never be the same, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Oh, well. Let's see. Oh, I'm here. Kind of, sort of, maybe. I also see IB Don C, as well as a double dip in a Java. We got Java Doctor and Java Doctor 2, the new and improved version. I also see them sneaky, chinky beetles. I know, J Dread. They're chinky. Huang Tong King Tong. You know how they get their names, don't you? Drop some silverware on the floor. That's how they do that. IB Don C is in the house. Hey, Don, how'd things go today? I didn't get a chance to log in and say hey. So how did things go? I'm inquiring minds want to know. I also see... Yeah, okay. And I did the Javas. And J Dread is here. Trump traded Kansas to Venezuela for a bag of magic beans. Well, it's a gas. Thanks for informing me about that, Americant. I did not know that. Damn, am I going to have to learn Spanglish now? Or something? Or Venezuelan? They're just going to have to put up with me. JJ's, 99 JJ's is in the house. Don't know that he's necessarily here, but he is logged in. I also see Juana Taco. And you know what? Tonight's leftovers after I get done on the radio. Because, yes, I am going to need to have more sustenance than that little bit that I had. I also see P. Bunyan Timber is in the house. Hey there, P. Bunyan. How you doing? Thanks, Robworks. The lovely Rain is here. She's such a lovely lady. As well as RLM Fluke, the Vanna White of the RLM channel, don't you know? There's Rob Works, who just fired up that bubbler and passed it around because he's such a giving kind of guy. Thank you ever so much, Bubbles. No, I can't think of you as Bubbles. Bubbler, maybe, but not Bubbles. But thank you, darling, for doing that. Tip Bob is here, as well as Trust No One. I really miss Darth Roams. And it's after Halloween, so that's the only time I get to do that laugh. I also see Vinny from the wilds of Vegas. That place is crazy. I've been there twice. Once during the day, driving through, and thought, really? People come here on purpose? And then another time, spent a couple of days and wandered around and chit-chatted with people and played the nickel and dime slot machines and had a grand time. I really did. But I was ready to come home. I was very ready to come home. Vegas is not a place for me. I also see Phantom. Thank you, Phantom, for the awesome intro that you did for me. And looky there, Americant is here. Americant and Americant. Who's Amera? Colfax 101 is also logged in, but away at the moment, as well as Dimma. Hi, Dimma. And Dorky Lynn is logged in too. Hey, Lynn. Looky there, Frumpy. Didn't have a chance to get Frumpy yet, but yeah. I plan on, as soon as I get done on the radio, I am going to get in my Frumpy zoot suit. Looky there, Jehovah One, who has decided to turn the thermostat down and turn the wind up just a skosh. Thanks, Jehovah. I also see Kozu is in the house. Hey, Kozu. And the lovely Mary B from Down Under is here. I hope your weather is absolutely wonderful down there, because it's bruisey here. Moy is here. Vega Schmagas. What the heck is Schmagas? Oh, it's the craps. Yeah, Colfax 101. It kind of sort of is craps. Yeah, you just take a roll of the dice, and there you go. You screwed. I knew that was you, Nenson. Hi, Nenson Dubois. Thank you ever so much for giving me that fun name to say. I also see Poxified is here, as well as Pompopon Sauce. And to round out the crew, the one, the only, the Slim Jim Flim, who looks a lot like a long, tall, skinny jerky, but really he's not. He's tougher. So, let's see. Where shall I go? Where shall I go? Giant wooden penis appears on top of... Oh, you know I gotta go there, Java. I tell you what. I'm gonna copy this, and I will put it. But I gotta get it to something informative, because I'd had this discussion with someone a couple weeks back. Been a couple weeks now. And the individual I was having the discussion with, I really, really trust their judgment. They're very, very smart. I respect them immensely. But when I read this, it was like, holy crap. This is a guy that this is what he does for a living. And I need to turn my dinger off, don't I? Yeah, I do. Have my dinger a little bit too high. Sounds like a personal problem, doesn't it? Oh, well. Oh, and that's a little low. Okay. So, now that I'm done doing that, this is from the Essential Oil University, and it's from October the 26th of this year, the Essential Oil Myth number 15. Now, there's an awful lot of, essential oils are really starting to get popular. They're the in thing. And so there's an awful lot of places that are making bank off of essential oils, or EOs, as a lot of the people call them. And what they're selling, a lot of them, especially in, I like Amazon. I will tell you, I'm the first one. I love shopping on Amazon, because being out here in the boonies, number one, don't have a Costco or anything else like that, even remotely close. Like, I got to drive at least 4 hours to get to the closest Costco. And that's way too much traffic for me. I turn into an idiot and an asshole when I have to deal with all those idiots and assholes. So, I do an awful lot of shopping on Amazon, but buyer beware, and that is something that applies everywhere. Buyer beware. Research, investigate, make sure that when you are going to spend those dollars that you bust your ass for, that you're getting what you actually think you're paying for. So, now this one is not a busting somebody's ass, although Dr. Pappas has multiple articles about different oils that are sold on Amazon that are barely make the grade as a fragrance oil. I mean, they're selling them as pure essential oils, which is another one of those things where you got to realize if it is all oils, they can say it's a pure essential oil because it's oil. It's all the components are oil. So they can say it's a pure essential oil. But that doesn't necessarily mean that, number one, it is food grade, and number two, that it is of the medicinal value that many people purport, myself included. So, essential oil myth number 15. The myth is that a synthetic molecule is different than the exact same molecule if made naturally. Ah, no, Snuffles, I hear you barking. The fact is, that's right. You read it correctly. It's not a mistake, and I know it's going to be hard for some of you to accept that this is, in fact, a myth. But I assure you it most certainly is. But, as always, there is more to the story than just leaving it there without further explanation, and the truth really takes nothing away from the specialness of natural products and the complexity of essential oils over synthetic fragrances, which is a lot of what is being purported as essential oils and sold at a very discounted price at a lot of places, not just Amazon. There's a lot of local stores where you can, Walgreens, Walmart, Dollar General, the dollar store, a lot of those, even, like your Dillard's and that kind of stuff. Any of those places that are starting to get into the whole essential oil thing, it is not necessarily what you think it is. The price will a lot of times tell you, but not all the time either. So, first thing we need to do is we need to accept and understand that individual molecules are not alive, but merely three-dimensional arrangements of atoms to form a unique structure in space. They're held together by shared electron densities that we call bonds. Now, I know this is getting a little bit scientific, but y'all need to hear this. Bear with me. As such, an individual molecule has no knowledge of the pathway by which it was created, and how it behaves in any system is a function of its three-dimensional structure, not of its origin. A molecule of, say, menthol, which is the main component in peppermint essential oil, will behave exactly the same in any environment, whether that molecule of L-menthol was made by the peppermint plant or by BASF chemical plant. When 10 carbon atoms and 15 hydrogen atoms come together in the arrangement shown in the picture below, and this is on Facebook, but you can also go to essentialoiluniversity.com and see this. When you see the arrangement that he is discussing here, regardless of who or what orchestrated the atoms coming together in this arrangement, it's still L-methanol, or menthol, L-menthol. And L-menthol is L-menthol because of this structure. The structure is what defines the molecule, not its source. Now, we've gotten that out of the way, but, excuse me. Now for the rest of the story. Yes, it's true that isolated individual molecules are universally the same regardless of who or what synthesized them. But this is in no way means that essential oils can be reconstructed molecule by molecule in a lab. The reason this would be virtually impossible is because of the vast complexity of essential oils. Essential oils are almost always a collection of hundreds of molecules. And when you look at all the minor and trace components, you see that the problem becomes infinitely more complex when you consider that almost every one of those components has an enantiometric. I know I buggered that. That's a really big scientific word. But it has a specific form to worry about as well. So, for example, while peppermint oil consists of 40 to 50% menthol and 99% plus of the menthol is L form, there is also a small amount of its mirror image or D-menthol in there as well. Not to mention that menthol has not one but 3 carbon atoms. So when you consider all the different little things like isomenthol, neoisomenthol, along with their mirror images, there is a total of 8 menthol isomers to worry about. And this is just the molecular structure or molecular system of menthol, which is one out of close to 100 different compounds in peppermint. So trying to exactly recreate the correct ratios of every one of those and or the diastereometer or whatever. Oh, I really should have looked up how to pronounce these words. In any case, in order to recreate the correct ratios of all of these, of every molecule in an essential oil, would be a monumental task that's basically impossible from the practical standpoint. So, the thing to take away from this is that there is nothing magical about a molecule simply because it's made in nature, which is basically a meaningless term to Dr. Pappas because, what is not natural? Basically, if it exists in nature, you cannot separate man from nature. The magic, if you will, is in the complexity that plants construct their collection of molecular mixtures that humans in a lab cannot even come close to exactly reproducing. At least not yet. So understanding the science doesn't make it any simpler or less interesting. In fact, if you really understand what's going on, you realize that how incredibly complex and intricate things are, and the more you know you don't know about the universe. The complexity of nature is the real magic, not nature itself. Which, I kind of like Dr. Pappas. I mean, he just flat out tells you what he thinks of stuff. And it really is pretty, if you've got Facebook, which I know there's an awful lot of you that don't, but... Oh, covalent bonds. Thank you, Rob Works. It is pretty understanding. Or pretty interesting to, finally get the gist of of just exactly why. And I haven't had a chance to speak with the individual that I had the discussion with a couple weeks ago since I've seen this article. And I thought, damn it, I really need to have a chat with him so I can say, guess what? I know this guy that's a chemist, like he's got his own lab and everything, and he does chemical breakdowns for people when it comes to essential oils and stuff. And this is what he said. So I just want you to read this, and then you poke holes in it. And if you don't get any holes poked in it, then I'll be going, booyah, Dr. Pappas kicks butt again. So, since I had that one, I also, well, Gary all got me started on it. Darn it all. He shared a thing about that he had made some Indian fry bread, and it was like, oh, damn it. I lost my recipe to that, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because the recipe I had was from when I worked at the school system and we made Indian fry bread for 500 people. And so converting it back was a bit of a challenge for me. I did do it, and I did make it a couple of times, and it turned out okay. But I lost that recipe book in my move when I moved over here to the boonies. So Gary, bless his heart, shared a recipe for that, and that got me started on the food thing. And y'all ever heard of amaranth flour or amaranth grain? Amaranth grain, first I heard of it was probably 15 years ago. And the Aztecs grew it. It was considered a grain of the gods, according to what I have read so far on that, at least. But it's very, very healthy. It's wonderful for baking with. I absolutely I use it all the time when I make cookies or that kind of stuff, because it gives a sweet, almost kind of a nutty taste that you wouldn't have with normal flour. So I really like it. But amaranth flour, it's getting hard to keep track of all of the super grains that we know, but we promise amaranth is worth learning about. This tiny but powerful food has some similarities to quinoa, and both are good protein sources and are naturally gluten-free, which gluten is not necessarily a culprit, but gluten is one of those little symptoms. If you become gluten intolerant, a lot of times that is because of the use of Roundup in the harvesting process. Because, there's shit in Roundup, like glyphosate, that sticks to the kernel and it messes with it and makes the gluten basically poisonous to certain people. It's poisonous to everybody, but some people have a higher sensitivity. In any case, so you'll start seeing it pop up in processed foods like granola bars, and it's also great to eat on its own, which, yes, it is. And it can be prepared in a few different ways. There's a reason, actually, by the Huffington Post count at least 14 of them, that it's been around for millennia. So, number 1, it was an Aztec staple. Amaranth was a key part of the diet of the pre-Columbian Aztecs, and it was used not just for food, but also as part of their religious ceremonies. Sadly, when Cortez and the Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century, amaranth crops were burned and its use forbidden. Fortunately, the plant was never quite eliminated. I want to know why they burned it and why its use was forbidden, other than, it being used in religious ceremonies. If it's a tasty grain, that's part of the whole cutting your nose off to spite your face kind of thing. Number 2, it's actually a seed. Like quinoa, amaranth is not technically a grain, but it is the seed of the amaranth plant. And one plant can produce up to 60,000 seeds. Number 3, amaranth is gluten-free. It doesn't contain any gluten, which makes it a great choice for people who are celiac or gluten intolerant, and an excellent way to boost the nutritional power of the gluten-free recipes. Number 4, it contains lysine. Now, most grains like wheat are short on lysine. It's an amino acid, but that's not the case for amaranth. This makes amaranth a complete protein because it contains all the essential amino acids. Number 5, amaranth contains protein. Its protein content is about 13% or 26 grams per cup, which is much higher than most other grains. And to compare, a cup of long grain white rice has just 13 grams of protein. Number 6, the plant is hardy. Amaranth prefers a high elevation but can grow at almost any elevation in temperate climates if it has moist, loose soil with good drainage. It can also survive in low water conditions once the plants have been established. And I know just south of here, and we are considered a rather arid area out here in the boonies, but just south of here, about 40 miles, there's several farmers that grow amaranth, because how else do I get my flour? Number 7, you can eat other parts of the plant as well. Amaranth seeds may be the best known part of the plant, which is more than 60 different species, but the leaves are also edible. They're commonly used in Asian and Caribbean cuisines. They stir fry them, or they're chopped up and added to soup. Number 8, it is a source of key vitamins and minerals. It contains calcium, magnesium, potassium, phosphorus, and iron. 1 cup of uncooked amaranth has 31% of the RDA of calcium, 14% of vitamin C, and a whopping 82% for iron. Number 9, humans have eaten it for millennia. It's estimated that amaranth was first domesticated in 6,000 to 8,000 years ago, which means we've been eating it for a very long time. Considering how easily and quickly it grows, that does make sense. Number 10, amaranth can be popped. And so can Milo, by the way. I got a cup full, well, like those coffee cups, the 32 ounces. I had someone bring me a cup full of Milo yesterday, and I'm going to try popping some of it, and I'm going to my oldest daughter let me borrow her grain grinder, and I'm going to grind some of it up for flour and make some zucchini muffins this weekend and see how well that Milo works for that. Because I do have some friends that I wish to make some muffins for, and gluten intolerant, and also corn and soybean intolerant. So zucchini muffins are just the thing. Okay, so let's see. So if popped amaranth is used in Mexico as a topping for toast, among other things. It looks like tiny popcorn kernels and has a nutty taste. And you can even do it yourself at home, which, yes, I have one of those little popcorn poppers that it has, you put the butter in the bottom and then it has this little stirry thing. And then I have an old-fashioned one like that as well that you can do over a campfire, so it's way cool. Okay, number 11, it grows around the world. Though amaranth is considered a native plant of Peru, it is now grown around the world in countries including China and Russia, Thailand, Nigeria, and Mexico. It has also become a part of the cuisine in parts of India, Nepal, and the African continent. There are even farmers in parts of the United States, including Nebraska and North Dakota, that grow it. So, as well as Kansas. Number 12, amaranth is good for your heart. There are several studies that show that amaranth could have cholesterol-lowering potential. For example, in a 1996 American study found that the oil found in amaranth could lower the LDL cholesterol in chickens. Now, the LDL is the bad cholesterol. The HDL is the good cholesterol. And my doctor said that the way you remember that is H for happy, so it's happy cholesterol, and then lousy cholesterol. So, there was, also another one published in 2003 that showed that amaranth has phytosterols, which have cholesterol-cutting properties. Do not cut cholesterol completely out of your diet because your brain needs it to function. But you do want to get rid of that LDL, the bad cholesterol, and get the happy cholesterol. Your liver needs it as well. Number 13, it's a great breakfast option. Amaranth's tiny grains take on a porridge-like texture when cooked, making it a great option for your first meal of the day. There is a recipe that is linked here from Jeanette's Healthy Living. And amaranth porridge is a traditional breakfast in India, Peru, Mexico, and Nepal now. So, yay! And finally, number 14. It can help keep you regular. Among its other impressive nutritional stats, amaranth is also a source of fiber, with 13 grams of dietary fiber per uncooked cup compared to just 2 grams for the same amount of long grain white rice. Which, they're talking about long grain white rice, and I had brown rice last night, long grain, wild rice, along with meatballs. I cooked meatballs in like a cream of mushroom sauce. And then I had and served it over rice. Oh, it was yummy, 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 yummy. So, oh, bad people in the world. There are so many bad people in the world, and I'm so tired of hearing about bad people. So I'm just going to go with good stuff. And happy stuff and silly stuff. And let's check this. Oh, holy crap and holy. This is Java. Shared this over in the RLM. Thanks, Java. It's from the metro.co.uk. A giant wooden penis. It appeared on the top of a mountain. If you know a man who's a bit insecure of his manhood, then I'd recommend that you don't visit the Austrian Alps. Oh, so it was in Austria even. Well, those crazy Austrians thinking that they need, that's talking, well, yeah. Somebody's got some wood up there, and I would think in those kind of temperatures you'd go all turtle, but, Okay. I got to share this amaranth thing real quickie over here on the effin' site. Because it is num. It is wonderful for baking. I've never cooked it as a breakfast thing, but it's wonderful for baking. So, now back to the giant wooden penis. I had to go there. Java shared it. So apparently this giant wooden penis has been erected, pun intended, on top of an 1,893 meter high or 6,211 foot mountain. Somehow, and for some reason, someone has managed to plonk a huge sculpture of an erect penis right at the top of Mount Osher. Yeah, I know I boogered that one up. The phallic statue, nestled on an alpine peak in the southwestern Lower Austria, was discovered by blogger Marika Roth. So, Marika, male or female? Female. She said the sculpture, I believe, she said of the sculpture, I believe the Oster just got a new mascot. Should be a manscot. News of the erect wooden penis quickly spread across the country, with bemused locals discussing the identity of the anonymous artist behind the statue. People are also puzzled as to how they managed to get it to the top of the mountain without anyone spotting it, which, I would think you go wandering around with a big old giant wood on your back and people are going to notice. Talk about a broke back mountain after hauling that kind of wood. Although it is kind of split. Oh, it's in two pieces. That's how they did it. Apparently the ski lift operators were equally puzzled by the penis, but seemingly embraced the artwork as a future tourist attraction. One wrote jokingly on social media, with us, not only winter is coming. No. Okay, that's only if there's snow on top that it would look like it's doing that. The operators have, however, asked that the creative artist to secure the object sufficiently, as they fear it might not withstand a storm, which it possibly won't. So you're going to have to give it a couple of little nuts to hold it in place. A woman joked online, whoever managed to get it up there has really proven to be a man of some kind. And another referred to the many traditional wooden mountaintop crucifixes in Austria and asked, instead of a summit cross, we now get summit penises. Really? Well, this penis is not the only phallus controversy to excite Austrians this year. In April, a giant penis next to a chapel in a town that has a name that I am not even going to try because it'll sprain my tongue, was met with stiff opposition by members of the local church. Once again, I think that pun was intended. It was erected in the garden of a local art dealer next to the Way of the Cross hiking trail, and it angered locals. Mayor Christoph and Mr. Hez eventually jointly decided to cover the penis statue with a condom-like tarpaulin. To please the prudish townfolk, apparently. So they wrapped that rascal. So that wood is not going to impregnate anybody. Apparently, Mr. Hirsch got the last laugh when he added a famous quote by the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. Praise be what hardens you to the tarp. There you go. Well, he did wrap that rascal. So, thanks, Java. You're such a silly guy. Silly, silly, silly. And yes, I am going to share that over on the effing site because it's just too freaking funny. It is. Where's the silly guys? There we go. Okay. What are you doing now, Vinny? Huh. Oh, I might need what? Prices drop as you shop. What is this, Grimmy? Oh, I do have some of that, Vinny, or Grimmy. Actually, I do. But you know, when you're making muffins or with cookies, you really you don't have to worry that much about. And I'll dotch with it. That's why I'm practicing this weekend, and I have plenty of volunteers that will consume the experiments that I come up with. So, but thank you. Cool. I just may have to get some more, though, because I don't know how much I have left in my freezer. That's where I keep it, because I don't want it getting buggy. Okay. I'm going to go back to my pocket, because I know I do have a few more things in there that I wanted to get to. And see, I got all these damn recipes up top. Okay. Oh. I want to go here. Yeah. Ooh, a loaded see, I got all kind of recipes here, like a loaded cauliflower bake. I know someone that makes a pizza crust out of cauliflower, because she has gluten issues and all kind of other issues, and it is actually kind of tasty. So, okay, seeing as how I started out on the, well, let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which one do I want to go to? How about I go to a creepy as hell story? Because I didn't get to that the other day because I spazzed. Go figure. It's from cracked.com. Creepy as hell stories cut from your PG-13 history books. Yeah, history textbooks are full of terrible things like warfare and genocide and plague and the dark days when video games were all text-based. Ooh, way back in those prehistoric times. It's heartrending to even contemplate. But every now and then, history's horror stories are so over the top that they have to be left out of the classroom entirely, lest they pollute the entire zeitgeist with terror. For instance, case circles, this one is for you, hun. I think this is kind of sort of close to where you reside. Number 5, the Prime Minister so reviled that he was eaten by his constituents. Now, I'm sorry, but when I revile someone, I do not want to consume them, because you are what you eat. Prime Minister Johan de Witt of Holland had the worst year in political history. In 1672, it was 1672, and the Dutch had unexpectedly found themselves at war with nearly all of their neighbors. Large parts of the country were rather effortlessly conquered, and Johann fell from public favor because of it. Over the course of 2 months, he was badly wounded by an assassin, maybe they should say attempted assassin, forced to resign, and saw his brother Cornelius, arrested, tortured, and sentenced to exile on trumped-up charges. When Johann tried to visit his brother one last time, the soldiers guarding the men were mysteriously ordered away, and then the pair were attacked by an angry mob. The brothers were shot repeatedly, stripped naked, and hung by their feet from scaffold. Then their genitals were cut off. Thankfully, I'm thinking they were probably dead by then. I hope. Their bodies were sliced open and their hearts and guts were pulled out. And then people began eating them. I'm thinking those people were really, really pissed. According to one account, Cornelius was still alive when the mob cut him open and began feasting on his innards. Ew. If it's any consolation, it's not, Johann did get a few commemorative statues built centuries after the fact as a sort of national our bad on the rage cannibalism thing. You know, I listened to a video the other day and a speech to graduates where he was a former coach at Notre Dame, football coach at Notre Dame, and he said that they'd put a statue up at Notre Dame of him, and he said apparently they needed to have some place for the pigeons to land. And I thought, wow, that's really about all statues are good for, isn't it? It's a place for pigeons to land and take a dump. It's like, here, look, public rest area for birds. You can take a load off your wings and then unload a little to take a load off your wings. Okay, number 4, the nuns who cut off their noses. Their very own noses. This is where to cut off your nose to spite your face came from. It's a weird idiom, and it originated with some especially hardcore nuns. The story goes that the Scottish abbey of St. Ebba the Younger was attacked by Vikings sometime around 870. Rather than see herself and her fellow nuns raped, Ebba grabbed a razor and cut off her nose and upper lip, then wallowed in the resulting torrent of blood. The other nuns, filled with admiration of this admirable deed, followed her example. I don't know that I would call that an admirable deed. I'm thinking that's a little excessive. But apparently it worked. The Vikings were so horrified that they refused to approach the nuns, allowing them to retain their virginities. Although it was more of a moral victory than anything else, because the Vikings then promptly burned the abbey down. So they went to hell sans nose and upper lip. Oof. Oof. Number 3. Deadly Madagascar vomit trials. Really? Apparently in the 19th century Madagascar, justice was abandoned in favor of a challenge straight out of the Fear Factor. The Malagasy people of the island often determined guilt through a method called tangina, which was a favorite of Queen Ranavalona. There you go, Queen Ranavalona the First. The practice involved swallowing a poison made from the nut of the tangia tree, along with 3 pieces of chicken skin. If you successfully vomited up all 3 pieces of skin, you were declared innocent. But if you failed or just flat out died, then you were guilty, because only guilty people retain chicken skin. Is that kind of like, you know, when they did all that shit to the women that were supposedly witches? You know, well, you know, if we tie a rock around your ankles and tie your hands up and bind your legs up to where you can't kick or anything, and then we throw you in a really deep part of the lake or river, if you don't drown, then you're a witch, and then we're going to have to kill you. But if you drown, then you weren't a witch, and so, well, we saved you from becoming a witch and losing your soul to Satan. Crazy-ass people in this world. Apparently, the average citizen's belief in the divine righteousness of Tangina was so strong that most people preferred it over eyewitnesses. And even those who failed the test largely accepted their fate as the will of some higher power. The trial was also popular among elites as a judicial instrument to systematically deprive potential rivals of their wealth. Making someone eat nut poison was basically their version of rich people suing each other into oblivion. Which, fatalities aside, we could stand to see make a comeback. Possibly. But you can't put those fatalities aside. Despite often being used for minor infractions, Tangina had a fatality rate in the range of 33 to 55%. And it was so popular during her reign that between 1828 and 1861, it killed an average of 3,000 people a year. Oh, except in 1838, when it killed as many as 100,000, or 20% of the population. So America's judicial system has its flaws, but at least you don't have to eat poisoned peanut butter every time you hit a Mercedes. Thank God. Number 2. The serial killer whose murder weapon was President Taft's pistol. Karl Panzram had the makings of a real-life Coen Brothers villain. After being brutally beaten and raped all through his youth, he went on a one-man rampage across America. Vandalism, larceny, arson, rape, murder. He even wanted to start a goddamn war between America and Great Britain. Egad. The man had a dream. A terrifying, sheet-ruining dream. But a dream nonetheless. In 1920, he burgled the home of former President William Howard Taft. He had a bone to pick with Taft, and he had been sentenced to 3 years in Fort Leavenworth military prison for enlisting in the Army but refusing to work while Taft was Secretary of War. He was the sort of guy who could see that as Taft's fault. Anyway, Carl made off with cash and bonds, thousands of dollars worth of jewelry belonging to the former First Lady, and Taft's Colt .45 pistol. He used the profits from his crime to buy a boat, then lured sailors aboard with the promise of work before getting them drunk, raping them, and murdering them with Taft's gun. He then weighed their bodies down and threw them overboard. He killed at least 10 people this way, part of the 21 murders he claimed to have committed. What is the deal with weighing people down and throwing them overboard? Feed them to the fishes. It's like mafioso shit way back in the day. Panzram was eventually caught and arrested for robbing Taft's house. And while in prison, he beat someone to death and was executed for it, but not before he wrote some of the most depressing memoirs in human history. As further punishment, he was later portrayed by James Woods in a very unfortunate movie. And lastly, number 1, okay. The countless men who drowned in mud. It's like a quicksand kind of thingy. World War I often takes a back seat to the gritty sequel, but it was nonetheless a total horror show of trench warfare, mustard gas, and existential poetry. Really? And that's merely scratching the surface. For example, the Battle of Passchendaele, I know I buggered that one, saw some of the heaviest rain Europe had endured in 30 years. It absolutely poured for a full week, while artillery destroyed canals and drainage ditches all over the swampland. So the field itself turned into a muddy disaster. And did you know that you can drown in mud? You can, it just takes a while. One battalion lost 16 men to mud alone. One soldier wrote about that unique feeling you get when you successfully navigate the mud, only to realize that you were stepping on corpses the whole time. A Canadian and a German soldier were found drowned together while locked in struggle, because sometimes metaphors for the horrors of war are really on the nose. Oh, see you later, Mary B. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day or evening or whatever it is you got going on, hon. Love you. So here is one of the survivors' first-hand accounts. It's a khaki-clad leg, 3 heads in a row, the rest of the body submerged, giving one the idea that they had used their last ounce of strength to keep their heads above the rising water. In another miniature pond, a hand still gripping a rifle is all that's visible, while its next-door neighbor is occupied by a steel helmet and half a head, the eyes staring icily at the green slime which floats on the surface, almost at their level. Gross. Gross. Cracked, cracked, cracked. That's just cracked. That's just messed. Okay, put this over here. Yes, American nut poison. Oh, I'm catching up on the chat over here on the RLM, and it looks like somebody made Vinny's butt pucker. Wow, Vinny. You guys swapping your nut poison over there? That's just wrong. That's just wrong. Okay. Oh, hey, did you know Trump Jr. thinks sharing candy is evil? Should I go there? Sometimes these headlines are just really, I go to them just for the headlines. And then I think, what? That ain't nothing like that headline. Okay. Let me see. Wait a minute here. Horrifying urban legends that actually came true. 6 real people who cheated death in the craziest... Oh, let's check this out. This is from the 30th of this month. I want to see that. Because, you know, instead of having the Darwin Awards where people just really do something stupid to qualify themselves for gene pool cleansing, you have some of this other stuff. Ooh, 6 creepy sixth senses you've always had and never noticed. Ah, they got all kind of really cool links off to the side. Okay, number 6. Apparently a serial killer target used her car keys to deflect a gunshot to the head. Wow. Wow. Okay. So, you don't get a name like the Night Stalker without being darn good at murder. Ew. Richard Ramirez killed at least 13 in a little over a year in the middle 80s, which is pretty successful. Yeah, well, you know, as they strive. That is, if you're inclined to call such things successes. But one night, when Ramirez was out stalking, he encountered Maria Hernandez and followed her home from her car to her apartment. Hernandez turned around when she heard noises behind her, which Ramirez took as his cue to shoot her in the face. But when he fired his gun, the bullet was blocked by the car keys that Hernandez had incredibly luckily still holding. It's not known what kind of metal is used to make both to make the keys and block bullets, but she apparently drove a Wolverine. What the hell is a Wolverine? Despite suffering only a broken finger, Hernandez dropped to the floor and played dead. After delivering a few good kicks to what he believed was a corpse just for fun, Ramirez stepped over Hernandez, entered her apartment, where her roommate met a decidedly less fortunate fate. Hernandez then got up and managed to get to the front of the building right as Ramirez was leaving, at which point she begged him not to shoot her again. And he didn't, for some reason. Probably because he needed a pants change more than he needed murder after seeing what he had every reason to believe was a ghost. Oh, I have a listener from Malta? Cool! This turned out to be a bad move, as Hernandez's testimony later helped secure him a one-way trip to the gas chamber. Okay. That's about that's all I can handle of that one, because that's just, I gotta find something better to talk about. That's depressing. It's a Freaker Friday, and that's some freaky ass shit, but man. Between Sicily and North Africa? Ah, how cool. Well, that's just awesome. Hey, maybe that's Lino. Grammy, maybe it's Lino. I don't know. Oh, weird. Okay. Okay. Let me see here. I am going to go back to... I have so many things that are tucked in my pocket, and it's like, where do I want to go? Ooh. What is this one? You know how they say that if you're catching an awful lot of flack, you must be right over the target? Well, I know that's a saying. This is from consciousreminder.com. And I kind of sort of like the headline. They fear you because you are strong. Huh. I know I really scrolled way far down in my pocket, but it grabbed my eyeballs and said, hey, you need to read this. So maybe they're afraid of you because you're too honest at a time when people are attracted by sweet talkers and manipulators who make lies sound better than the truth. There's an awful lot of them out there as well. Maybe your truth is too bitter for those who don't want to feel and taste your genuine self. The people who only want the cherry on top of the cake. I tell you what, if it's a maraschino cherry, you can have it, because I don't like those things. I call them Martian cherries because they're just entirely too sweet. They might feel threatened by you because you know exactly what you want in life, when the rest of them feel lost in their search. They might be so caught up in their insecurities that they reject everybody who follows their own path. Even worse, they might be simply used to being in the company of people who are insecure and have no idea who they actually are. I know people like, hey, I was one of those. That's how I can recognize it, because I was one of those people. And there's lots of times I still do. I look in the mirror and I go, who is that looking back at me? That's not who I was looking at last night. Holy crap. Maybe they're just afraid of you because you don't want to take part in their games where everybody is so consumed by winning. And those who refuse to participate are considered losers. Well, you know what? You want to call me a loser, that's fine. Doesn't mean I have to wear that badge, honey. Number one, first thing that has to really, for me, I have to value your opinion in order for your opinion to scar me or wound me. Just saying. In this case, you're probably surrounded by people who became experts in playing this game. That they don't want to go back and try again because that would mean that they are at the start line all over again. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay to start over again. Sometimes that's what you need to do. They might be afraid because you say things that they don't want to hear. And it's totally normal since they got used to the lies that they've been served for so long. These people believe in the image they created of themselves, not in who they really are. Maybe your words sound so unfamiliar to them that they simply don't understand them and don't believe in them. And that's okay. That really is okay. Because you know what? People will understand and believe what they're ready and willing to understand and believe. And it doesn't make a darn bit of difference how much you put it in front of them, how well-meaning you are. That doesn't mean doodly squat. If they aren't ready for it, it's all going to be just a bunch of Charlie Brown adult talking. Wah, 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 wah. That's all it is. Until they're ready to hear what you're saying, that's how it's going to sound to them. Maybe you scare them because you pay attention. You don't forget what they said when they were angry or vulnerable. You pay attention to their eyes and body language and the tone of their voice and gestures. Maybe they're not used to being seen or heard, and your attention makes them feel uncomfortable because it means that they have to take the mask off. Not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to take the mask off. Sometimes it makes people uncomfortable because they really aren't used to being seen or heard. There's an awful lot of people out there like that, and bless their hearts. It's sad, and then it's really kind of interesting when you can see as you pay attention and you converse with them and you see them light up. And then they start sharing things and they stop putting that persona out there and they start actually sharing what's inside. And that's really cool. And it is such an honor to have people feel comfortable enough to even let you have a peek at some of that. It really is pretty cool. So maybe they're scared of you because you are aware of their fears, and yet you're not being overly cautious. Maybe you're carefree with your heart and your feelings, and they don't know how to cope with them, and it confuses them. They actually can't deal with anything that affects their routine and reality. Maybe your heart rate is a bit faster, and they can't keep up, and that could be. Maybe you're just different, and different has been equated to bad. For some silly reason, different, lots more letters, equates to bad, and not bad to the bone kind of bad either. And that's kind of sad too, because, vive la différence. There is nothing wrong with difference. It's enjoying the differences. It's like that speech that I listened to the other day. There's only 7 different colors in the rainbow. 7. And yet look at what Picasso was able to do with those 7 colors. There's only 7 different musical notes. And look at what Beethoven did with those 7 notes. It's amazing. If you just kind of open up your perspective just a little bit and, maybe just being an example and let people be a little bit concerned. And I've gotten quite used to people looking at me kind of off kilter and going, what's she up to now? Doesn't bother me anymore. Actually, a lot of times I giggle when I see that look. It's like, oh, there's another one. They weren't prepared for this old broad. I'm not really sure that I like this whole maybe they're afraid of you thing. I don't know that people are necessarily afraid. I think they're just kind of concerned. This goes on to say maybe they're afraid of you because you don't need them. because you know you can survive without them. Because they know that you won't wait for them. Because they know you stand up for yourself. Because they know you won't be just another number in their phone book. It's called culling the herd when you let people know that. Because they cull themselves, basically. And that's not a bad thing. Maybe they're afraid of you because you appreciate yourself. Because you're strong enough to let go and leave. And that you're smart enough to know your value. Maybe they got so used to the pedestal that they've been put on that they have no idea how to function anywhere else. Regardless of the reasons, keep scaring them. Keep scaring them with your sincerity, with your strength, your goodness, your love, understanding, with your words, with your eyes, with your presence, and your ability to read them. Keep reading until you find someone as brave as yourself. The one who won't be afraid of you. Someone as scary as you. And you know, that's kind of sort of like Dr. Seuss said. We don't fall in love. We don't really fall in love. We fall in weirdness. You know, we're all weird. We all have our own little idiosyncrasies. But when we find someone whose weirdness goes quite well with our weirdness, we fall into weirdness with them. And it's fun. It's fun being weird. And you know, I think life is supposed to be enjoyed. You're supposed to have fun with it. Even when things aren't cool. I was talking with a little one today at work. And you know, they were talking about how someone was being mean or they were doing this or they were doing that. And I said, you know what, sweetheart? You know how you feel when they act that way? And they said, yeah. And I said, well, now you know how not to behave. Because if you feel like that when they behave in that manner, it doesn't make you want to behave that way, does it? Because you know how it feels to be on the receiving end. Sometimes the negative examples are just as important as the positive ones. Federal excise taxes on tire. I'm reading the chat again. You know, when I first saw that Java Doctor 2, I thought federal exercise taxes? Don't make me pay taxes on my pedometer. And no, I'm not a pedo. Those little step meter thingies. Do they call those step meters now instead of pedometers? They used to, way back in the day, call them pedometers. See, Rob Works said his monitor uses only 3 colors to achieve all that. Isn't that cool? I'm being perpendicular? I hadn't thought of that. Thank you, Americant. I hadn't really thought of being perpendicular, but okay. Is that anything remotely close to side-goggled? How fun. Perpendicular. I like that. I may just have to say I'm feeling rather perpendicular today. And just see how many funny looks I get from people I work with. I already get lots of funny looks from them, so, you know, it's okay. Okay, let's see. What else do I have? I know I'm just off on tangents this evening. For some silly reason, I'm just feeling tangenty. Maybe that's what it is. Tangenty. Hey, that's kind of a fun word. I'm going to have to use that one again, too. But first, I'm going to go to the pig, because I want to see what happened this date in history. There it is. There's the pig. Hey, Hambo. Hey, Porcus. How you boys doing? I know you feeling ornery. The word of the day on this day. And it is a Friday, so it's an appropriate word. The word of the day is BBQ. It's a quaint American folk ritual with religious overtones. The head of the household, it's usually a man, sacrifices very expensive cuts of meat in a 21st century version of the time-honored fire ritual. If the ceremony is performed correctly, it's supposed to rain, which, yes, that is the way it works. If you do this properly, it rains as you get a char-broiled T-bone steak out of the deal. In their quotable quotes section, to young men everywhere, listen and heed the message of Kenny Rogers, coward of the county. That is a real man. That is from Terry T. Okay, Terry T., thank you very much. I do remember that song. Okay. What? Oh, social justice activists view everything through the prism of how does it affect their activism? How does it affect what they consider to be social justice? And if words are harmful to their movement, they consider it an act of violence. They literally consider words that they don't like to be an act of violence. I then discussed the lecture itself, which was successful. Who wrote this? These must be, interviews, apparently. So, you have the actual event where you had probably close to 300 students who showed up for this and engaged with me in a productive manner versus the social justice activists who didn't want me to appear, who called me names, who whipped people into a frenzy based on false information. So it really was a dichotomy. And I wonder how long term, what impact it has on the campus. Whether these students now realize they are being manipulated by these social justice warriors. That these people do not have their interests in mind. No, they usually don't. And that these people are totalitarian in nature and that they are the ones that people should be afraid of. Not me. Who spoke these words? Now I wish to scroll up and see who spoke these words. Oh, apparently William A. Jacobson during an interview on the Lars Larson show. Okay, cool. So, oh hey. Here's another one. A man tries and fails to open a beer bottle with pepper spray. That is an interesting headline. In Berlin, it's legal to drink beer in German movie theaters. But it's probably not a good idea to try and open your beer bottle with a pepper spray container. Ooh, not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed there. However, that's exactly what a thirsty moviegoer tried doing in a cinema Monday night in the northwestern German town of Osnabrück. I know I buggered that one up. So instead of opening his beer, the 29-year-old man broke his pepper spray container, and some 200 people had to quickly leave the theater in tears. The cinema's manager told the German news agency DPA on Wednesday that it was chaos. Still, he kept his head, calling police, offering beverages to moviegoers, and opening the windows. He says the movie was restarted after 30 minutes. Police say so far no moviegoers have complained about eye or breathing problems, as opposed to what would have happened in the good old USA, where there would have been lawsuits out the yin-yang already. Because people are litigious as hell over here. So, This date in history, the 3rd of November, 1955, bored with his lightning bolt tossing old kaboom tricks, kicks it up a notch by pitching a meteor at a woman in Alabama. Leaves her bruised but otherwise alive and kicking. Wow, old kaboom. What did she do to deserve such a smiting? This date in history, the 3rd of November, 1988, Aldo, a legend in his own mind, Rivera's career, hits a speed bump when his nose is broken during a brawl between Roy Innes and some skinheads at a TV taping. Because Aldo, reality TV at its worst. Which reminds me, all this shit that's going on in the news right now, especially all of these people that are out there with their cell phones and videotaping all kind of crap, or video phoning, or what is the new terminology for that anyway? You know, that is reality TV. All that shit that shows up on the news and that's on YouTube and all this other fun crap, that is the next phase of reality TV. Then when you watch the crap going on in Congress, or you watch Trumpelstiltskin doing whatever Trumpelstiltskin does, it's reality TV. That's all it is. It's programming to make you a sheep. Lastly, this date in history, the 3rd of November, 1992, Bubba defeats Vincente W. Bush's daddy for the coveted Oval Office seat. Begins mapping out plans for some White House intern games while she hatches a healthcare scheme. Yeah, if you want to call it that. Shitlery. Oh, and according to the pigs, on the pig calendar, November is Honky Heritage Month. So if you are a honky, it is time for you to be proud of your heritage. I am a Grammy cracker myself. So, what else have I not done? While I'm scrolling through, scrolling, see what's going on over here in the RLMN. What? Hey, JJ's! I see you, sweetie. How you doing? Oh, now you guys are talking Bitcoin. I do not know anything about Bitcoin. I know that you're supposed to, like, learn as much as you can about as much as you can, but that's just one of those things that, Okay. I don't think I went to this one the other day because, well, I remember seeing the link, and I don't remember doing it on the radio, and I don't think it's going to even pull up. Nope, it's not going to pull up. It was an article about a man suing his wife for being too ugly without makeup. Wake up, too. Wow. I know people. Hi, Chloe. I see you, sweetheart. I actually know people who, absolutely refuse to sleep in because they're afraid their spouse is going to see them without makeup. What the hell? I mean, that's just, that is really messed up. When you are so insecure and so concerned about this meat suit shell that we use to navigate this reality, that you refuse to let yourself sleep in because you're afraid that someone might see you without makeup. Wow. There's days when I'm concerned that, after playing with makeup, because my daughter sends me some and I want to try it, and I check it all out, I'm afraid somebody's going to show up after I've got all this war paint on and go, holy crap, what happened to you? Because I don't do makeup. I don't know. Oh, here's a fun one. And this is also from Cracked. Yay, Cracked. Yay. I was looking in my recommended in the pocket. So, yes. Full beaver, huh? Oh, when is the full moon? Was it last night? It was really, really huge among us last night. When is the full moon? By the way, y'all, here in the USA, hey, it's tonight, tomorrow. Cool. Okay, it was really, really bright yesterday morning. Really bright. Or not yesterday morning. Last night. Like early evening. And huge among us. Huge among us. Thanks, Chloe, for that. But yeah, daylight savings times here in the USA starts Sunday. So cut that off of the end of your blanket. Sew it on the other end because you now get another hour of sleep. Which means you actually can sleep in and still get up early enough so that your husband won't see you without your makeup. Okay, from cracked.com. 6 embarrassing bathroom habits nobody will admit to doing. Wanna bet? This is about the time when Flash starts cringing. Because he goes, oh, holy shit, did she really say that live on the radio? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Are you ready? So, my job description here is pretty simple. Find the quickest, most efficient way to make people feel good about feeling bad when they read my writing. Hey, I like that job. That means that if I have to take your hand in mine, which I assure you could use a squirt of hand sanitizer, and lead you on a journey to places you think you don't want to go, places where you do embarrassing, terrible, uncouth things, take my hand. Take my hand and go to the bathroom with me so I can assure you that it's not just you who does these things. I don't know that, I quit going to the bathroom in packs when I quit going to bars. Unless I go with my granddaughter, she and I will go. But, yeah. I see flashers cringing. So, number 6 in those embarrassing things, the scratch and sniff. So let's say you took a shower yesterday morning. You ate some Frosted Flakes. You went to work. You cried on your break period. You stole a ton of office supplies. You came home. You drank until you passed out. And then, bang! New day. To make up for yesterday's shame, you do some working out in the morning and get as sweaty as an OCD orgy. Ew. And it's time to shower again. Sounds normal, right? Well, no, not to me, honey, but if it is for you. So you disrobe, you slide out of your vinyl workout onesie, you grab the safety bar to help you step over the dangerous edge of the tub and into the shower. And then, at that perfect moment, when your leg is ever so slightly aloft, and a faint, hushed breeze of cool air from the vent is just kissing at okay, this is gonna be hard. It's just kissing at your swampy taint. You reach down. I honestly can say no. You reach down and you swipe a digit through the stodgy morass you've cultivated in your shame crevice. and then you take a quick snoot pull of that wicked bouquet. Honestly, if I did that as a child, it's possible. But I don't remember ever doing that. So I can see now, reeling in disgust at the very idea of smelling your own dank nether slurry. But deep down, we both know you've done it. Everyone has done it. Everyone has taken a swab of their own personal mines of Moria. And everyone has come out a changed person. Not better, not worse, just changed. Depends. Oh. Okay. Number 5, the sink piss. Okay. Ladies, I'm 95% sure you can sit this one out and only read on the educational purposes. Not me. That 5% is tacked on because I can't claim to have much experience in how your plumbing works. I took a health class in high school and, I've seen some graphic videos. But I'm hardly a whiz-gineer, and with that in mind, let me tell you about pissing in the sink. Okay, number 1, if you've ever gone to a bar in a college town, that's all I'm going to say. It was a long time ago. I ran the water. I know Flash is cringing right now. I can see it in my mind. So, apparently he's not proud of this, and I don't do it all the time or anything, but, the fact remains that there have been a few dire moments in my life when I had more immediate access to a sink than I did a toilet. And figuring that all drains lead to rivers and all rivers lead to the ocean, I hosed down the sink. And if I'm being super honest, you can remove the dire moments a bit from my explanation and just safely assume that I was too lazy to go upstairs. In fact, my best friend in high school probably had more people pissing in his laundry room sink than in his bathroom, because you had to go up 12 steps and then across the kitchen to get to the toilet. But the sink was right next to the room we used to hang out in. When you're a teenager who hates moving, there's no distance between 12 steps and 1,000 steps. They're one and the same. Naturally, if a girl was present, no one ever pissed in the sink. And if there's any chance his mom reads my article, she probably just learned of this at the same time as the rest of you did. But trust me when I tell you that this wasn't our own isolated phenomenon. Sink pissing is real. It's happening right now. Did your friends just leave the room to go to the bathroom? Just listen. Be quiet and listen. Does the stream sound bathroom close, or does it sound sink close? That said, I'm sorry for ruining your lives. Okay, admit it, peeps. I know I did once. In a bar, in a college town, and the line was forever long, and there was a line to use the sink for said purpose, forever long. And you know why people were using the sink? Because there was one person that was passed out on the toilet with the door locked, and nobody was going to crawl underneath the stall wall. And in the other stall, there was someone that was obviously having some kind of issue with the other exit. So, there were quite a few of us that used the sink that night. That sink felt very used. Number 4, the nip alignment. The nip alignment? What the heck? Few things are so vaunted in our society as a boob. Okay, Flasher. They hold sway and do sway on occasion. They're utilitarian to some, sexual to others, and a nuisance to those who own them at least 25% of the time, if my research is even bordering on correct. So, while to the male gaze they seem like all fun and frolic, there's more work behind the scenes than most of us will ever realize. It turns out, and ladies, you go ahead and set me straight on Twitter if I'm way off base about this, that when it comes to loading the cannons, there's a procedural issue that you generally don't show off in mixed company. From time to time, as I understand, when one is trying to situate the twins in the appropriate support garment, one must mathematically align them in a forward-facing level position, lest one or even both of them end up looking like cockeyed drunks trying to watch a tilt-a-whirl. That's funny. Yeah. Guilty. Lacking the appropriate biology, I had no idea this was even an issue. Excuse me. But apparently nipples are like a basket of puppies that you set down on the floor. Hence, that's why they're called sweater puppies. Duh. The moment you turn your back, they're going off in every direction. For proper care and placement, you need to make sure when you're holstering them, excuse me, that they're set due north. Otherwise, a cold breeze could have you pointing off all helter-skelter in an embarrassing display of misalignment. Yeah, so what's your point? Yes, the girls get unruly sometimes, and yes, it's no different than baseball players rearranging stuff out there on the field. Only we have the common courtesy to at least turn around and not do it where everybody can watch, because basically, if everybody was watching, half of the crew would be going, hey. Because, admit it, guys, you pervs. Ooh. Okay, number 3. The scrot burn. I have no idea what the hell this is. I don't know that I want to find out. Back to an issue closer to my own heart, and by closer, I mean hovering around sack level. Okay, thank you. Improper sack care is a terrible mistake which I'm willing to bet far too many men have made in their lives. This is going to be a fun one, I can tell you right now. Now, sure, if you ever have jiggly time fun with a friend, then they will likely become aware of whether you're the sort of fellow who does what the young people call manscaping. And if I may so impose, you should definitely do that if you don't already. I used to go to the Y, and there were old dudes in the shower there with such thickets that it looked like, excuse me, they tried to fuck the machine. There's your first F-bomb of the night, late in the day. Tried to fuck the machine that makes steel wool and never found out how to properly escape its clutches. Wow. Don't be like that, but I digress. Wow, yes, you did digress, and thank you for giving me that mental image, because now I really need to perfect my mental etch-a-sketch. The point is, yes, people will know how you do this, but your secret, embarrassing shame is no doubt the same as mine. You fucked it up once. You fucked it up bad. Ooh. Every man has a moment when they want to feel their best, when they're pretty sure they're going to charm the literal pants off of someone, and in so doing, they will remove their own and show off the golden goods proudly. Golden goods? Okay. You need your gear to look and smell as good as it can. So maybe after making your nuts as smooth as a 2017 Bruce Willis head, you think a little splash of the good stuff can't hurt. The fuck it can't. The fuck it cannot. I'm thinking aftershave in the nether regions is a no-no. Besides the fact that, gentlemen, please, this is Grammy talking here. Please don't make yourself all naked down there, 'cause that's just creepy. It's creepy. It's like prepubescent. Don't do that. Gah. Apparently, aftershave on a recently shaved area is a lot like what I have no idea what that shit is on a recently shaved area, which whatever that is, it looks painful. Or hot knives in the eyeball. If your eyeballs are in your ball bag. Ow, that sounds really painful. The sting is unlike any other sensation you'll ever experience. You can literally feel it seep into your flesh and spread like a dude sitting on a subway seat. And as a what? As it what? I have no idea what that word is. It changes from a sharp sting to a low-grade burn. Oh, wonderful, thanks. Like you just teabagged a waffle iron and didn't have the wherewithal to stop squatting there. Ow! You feel waffle iron dumb. And there's nothing like it. I'm thinking, why? Why would you do that? Okay. Number 2. Man, this is just really sick and wrong, but I gotta finish it. I'm only mildly ashamed by how fascinating I find the daily rituals of women. To women, they are mundane and forgettable. To me, they are like opening a wardrobe and seeing Mr. Tumnus frolicking through Narnia. Okay. Mr. Tumnus. For instance, if you're a woman, the trials and tribulations of tampon use properly mean very little to you. But once, since I'm in no position to ever understand anyone's menstrual health and well-being beyond what Wiki tells me, I look at them like I'm Richard Dreyfuss at the end of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Okay, honey. The menfolk probably have some understanding of the concept of tampons and how they work. So maybe you'll be as perplexed as I was when I toss up this question. What happens when you poop? If you're bearing down, because let's face it, not everything slides. Okay, I get that. And your muscles are contracting. How the hell does the little fella stay in there? Oh my goodness. Honey, you're just going to have to find out from someone else, because I'm just not going to go there, okay? Number one, it's been years. It's been a while. But that's just not something, you can be an inquiring mind, but I'm not going to answer that question. Okay, and number 1, the no wipe. Oh, no. Even copping a squat. Because that whole drip dry thing is not cool. So, the no wipe thing, huh? I like to think that you can explain this away as a heroic act, a well-plotted sacrifice for the good of the entire world, which you make because you're a decent, caring human being. You are so good and loving that you will stand tall after dropping a deuce and not wipe your backside. No. Yeah. Sorry, honey, this is not something I have ever done. Yeah. Oh, you think you're just going to take a shower in a minute anyway? No. Apparently, he's just discussed this at length with others, and it's a hotly debated issue. As hot as the what something else paste fudging up your back pork, which you choose to leave in place in order to save a half dozen squares of gossamer paper. Nah. Some people are staunchly against this, at least when questioned, but others are willing to admit that it's an okay sacrifice to make if you're about to hop under the shower. No, it's not. No, it's not. After all, it's not like you can technically be too dirty to take a shower, can you? Well, that's true, but ew. And if anything, you're kind of foolish to be wiping your backside with a drier bit of paper when your perfectly serviceable spray of pressurized water and soap handy only a few feet away. Nah. That's just wrong. Apparently, can you be too dirty to take a shower? I don't know. I don't think so. So what if you get in the shower, start washing your ass, and feel it? Ew. Oh, ew. Sure, you're in the shower. You'll get clean eventually, but you always know. You always remember. You'll always wake up and wonder if you should have used toilet paper. Yes, you should have. And when your loved ones ask you what's wrong, you'll always react with the same scream. Yeah, I get the ew thought running through my mind. That is just mess in the head. What the hell? The waffle stomp found me. Oh, Nelson Dubois, that sounds, Have you ever stuck a hot needle in your left eye and moved it in? No, I haven't, sweetheart, and I really don't think I want to. I'm thinking, ow. Oh, they're looking for a cure for politically undesirable behavior. Who decides what is politically undesirable behavior? That's what I want to know. Okay. What is this? I'm catching up here in the chat. Oh, what are you? Okay. Something apparently is wrong in so many ways. Oh my goodness, y'all are just too funny. And you know what? I am just about out of time. Y'all been listening to Grammy's Rocket Chair. And yeah, I got a little on the demented side this evening. Oopsie, my bad. Not going to say it ain't going to happen again, because that would be a lie. Thanks for listening in and playing along and putting up with my craziness this evening, this freaky Friday. Be sure to stick around, because I keep seeing that waffle stomp and, man, getting that mental image, and I just don't want to go there. Stick around, because Grimner and Moose Girl, or possibly Moose Girl, will be on later on this evening for the Freakers Ball. And if Moosey is not... Frumpy, nobody put that in my folder. I just kind of started scrolling and found it. In any case, if Moosey ain't here later on, then it's going to be balls to the wall. Grimmy, please, honey, don't go to that crack thing, okay? I just reading about some weird guy that writes rather amusingly, but man, there's just some things that no, I just really didn't need to know. And I shared them with you. So there you go. We're on an even keel. Life isn't fair. So, in any case, I will be back tomorrow at noon Eastern Time, 11 o'clock Central Time, with Flasheroonie Dork, and we're going to do the Dork Table. And hopefully we're not going to be discussing any of these disgusting things from the bathroom. Oh, my goodness. I don't think there's anything else going on tomorrow afternoon except for maybe JJ's popping on to play some awesome tunage. And if you do, JJ's, booyah, because I think I'm going to be inside the house because it's supposed to be cold. So I will be baking and doing other things. So I may be tuned in. Am I going to say balls? Balls. Yeah, Kate, I just did. Wow, I am out of time. So y'all have an absolutely awesome rest of your evening. I do now have rumblies in the tumblies again. So I'm going to go and warm up some leftovers for my supper. And I will catch up with y'all later. But until then, remember.